as the case may be. Welcome to our reading. Where from? The Science of Mind magazine, the Daily Guides, a magazine that's been in publication for almost 100 years. Founded by Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of Science of Mind, sometimes called religious science. Not to be confused with Scientology. Our philosophy is completely different. We're not Scientologists. So, Science of Mind, religious science. I was helping teach a class all day today and yesterday evening, and somebody brought up the subject of us, Centers for Spiritual Living, getting confused with Scientology. Well, just to clarify things, we're not. I don't know much about Scientology, but I know enough to know that we're somewhat different. We're all inclusive. L. Ron Hubbard, I actually knew because he was a science fiction writer. I didn't know him personally, obviously, but I knew of him because he was a science fiction writer, but I don't know much about Scientology. That said, today's reading is, of course, as I said, from the Science of Mind magazine, the Daily Guides. It's called In Giving We Receive. In Giving We Receive. Written by Mary Davis this month. We're almost at the end of the month. And next month will be writings by my senior minister, my boss, if you like, Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings, who was teaching the class that I was helping with today. And the other assistant minister at our center, Reverend Lisa Ryan, was helping me help him. So hope that's not too complicated. Well, here we are. First quote is from a very famous Indian of the 20th century, i.e. from the subcontinent of India, Rabindranath Tagore, who was very, very well known, great writer, great philosopher. He said, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and I saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy." Rabindranath Tagore. Ernest Holmes simply says, "Love alone can heal the world and enable people to live together in unity and in peace. Love alone can heal the world and enable people to live together in unity and peace." And right now, we need a whole bunch of that. How can we help? By our positive thoughts and actions. When we put positive things out into the group human subconscious mind, we impact everybody everywhere in some way. And that quote was from, where else? 365 Signs of Mind, page 80. I think every quote this month, except one, has been from 365 Signs of Mind, which doesn't take a genius to guess our readings for every day of the year. Mary Davis is speaking for herself here when she says, "When we fill out the volunteer form at a homeless shelter or a nursing home, we believe we will use our time and talents to help someone else. We are strong, loving, able, and have a gift to give or a skill to share." But there is another important truth of service. The gifts of service are really gifts to the soul of the giver. The very people we think need our help become our most radiant teachers. Facing poverty, illness, unfathomable loss, or impending death can bring God so near that we can find ourselves at the intersection of heaven on earth. Mary Davis goes on to say, "On my Thursday volunteer day, I work with hospice patients in the morning and bereaved parents in the afternoon. No matter how busy I am with my own work or how long my to-do list is, I release it all and fully immerse myself into the moment at hand. Personal concerns melt away. Where do they melt? Into a deep well of peace as I look outside myself to the need of another and the need of the moment. There is only here. There is only now. We're here to love one another and to serve those in need with a compassionate heart. We can do this in small ways every day through an act of kindness and the simple art of being helpful. Giving is inherent in our nature, and today someone needs what we have to give. Let's change the world one by one. One positive thought, one compassionate action, one prayer, rippling endlessly. Okay. I don't do the things that Mary Davis is doing. Yeah, I do other stuff which helps people, but I'm not going to speak about it right now. But trust me, I do. Helping people can be really, really simple. You can make it complicated and you can make it simple. You know, our spiritual center until relatively recently used to give out food to the homeless. Well, we're a small church, if you want to call us a church, we're a small church. And the organization that helps give out food to the needy really only wanted big organizations to help with it. And we're not a big organization. We've been helping them for years, but they decided, for whatever reason, they didn't want the small groups together. So we found other ways of helping people. But these kind of things can come in really easy and small amounts. And I'll give you a perfect example, which cost absolutely nothing. We were shopping at a big box store this evening. After I finished helping Reverend Jesse Jennings with his class, we had to dash out. We had to go to a pet store to buy some food. We had to exchange some food because our dog is very fussy, would not eat the special food. I had to revert back to regular food. And then we went to a big box store to buy some stuff, not a lot, just some small amounts. As we were coming down towards the exit, there were two youngish women, not all that young, but I mean, not, I guess in their 30s, I don't know, maybe 40. And they had a huge shopping cart full of stuff. We were pushing our cart, and my wife stopped to talk to them. She thought they looked a bit hurried and a bit, not distraught, but they looked like they were preoccupied. And she started chatting to them, saying things to lift them up a bit. And then one of them had a big container, and my wife helped put it on the shopping cart for them. And then she proceeded to tell them a joke. And after she finished telling them the joke, she said, "Oh, and he's got one as well." So I told these two ladies a joke. The joke was a simple one. What do you call a cow that just gave birth? Decaffeinated. The one that my wife told them was, how much does a pirate pay for an earring? A buccaneer. But what it did, as simple as it was, I mean, they were laughing. It really made their day. They went from being looking like, oh, when is this going to be over and what we're going to do, to being cheerful. So it's really things like this. Do we need to get involved in other things like Mary Davis is talking about? Yes. What she does is not for me, but I do other stuff. But the simple things that we engaged in on the way out of the store today, my wife initiated it, I didn't. Just cheer people up, it makes them feel good. And I think that is just as much as what this lesson is about, as helping the homeless. Yes, we need to help the homeless. We do. But the thing is that these small things also really help make the world a better place. And guess what? When you make one or two people feel better, it impacts the whole human race. You may not think so because it's so tiny, but you do. Every act that's performed helps to make the world a better place. Every good act that's performed helps make the world a better place. That's really all I gotta say. I split up her affirmation here. I give of myself in small ways throughout the day. Just like that. I give of myself in small ways throughout the day. Cheer somebody up, right? I seek opportunities to use my gifts in service to others. I seek opportunities to use my gifts in service to others. So as I said, it doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. And the ones of us who have the skills and the time to actually do bigger things, fantastic. But the small things are just as important. Oh yeah, somebody, I forgot the exact story, but a lady went to pay, this is in the last few days, went to pay for something at the store, and the clerk said, there's no charge. The person in front of her had paid for what she was going to get, which is also kind of cool. All right, tomorrow morning, Reverend Lace will be on 9:30. Our service will begin at 11 a.m. and these are all Central Time, USA, Canada, and wherever else. Tune in, and if you miss them, as you know, you can always come to our Facebook page, Creative Life Spiritual Center. Go to our Facebook page. All these recordings are saved on there. Our services are saved on there. There's lots of information out there. And if you want to get our newsletter, info@creativelife.org. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow. So have a good rest of the evening. And I can kind of relax now the rest of the evening.